everybody. Today is, it's April the 1st. It is April Fool's Day. And it is almost 11 o'clock, and I've just pulled in here at Bible Grove, and we're back here. I got the truck back here, open the gate, the redneck gate up front. I'm gonna get on the old ditch witch today and start doing some trenching. It is an absolutely beautiful day. We had some rain last night. We've had a lot of rain. And it's still very muddy. I've got a bulldozer guy that maybe meet me out here this coming week. If you're playing the home game, that's the third bulldozer guy. First bulldozer guy back in October put me off several times, and finally, when we booked a night to come here and meet him, me and Dan came, stayed over at the lodge, and brought Harley with us. And he got up that morning and decided to go deer hunting with his son instead of meeting me out here, or meeting us out here to do the work. So he stood us up. I got in touch with another bulldozer guy, nice guy, said he could do the work too. That was back in November. He's been covered up in work apparently since, and can't get out here either. And so I've got a third bulldozer guy now that I've talked to, and I'm hoping that he will come out here and give us an idea of when he can get the work done. I talked to him early this morning, and he said he was about a month out. So maybe in the next few weeks we'll actually get some bulldozer work done. The other option then, if we can get it all worked out, is I could just go rent one. And I've talked to the people over in Jackson about renting a bulldozer, a Caterpillar D1, which is a small dozer, and just doing the work myself. Honestly, I could probably save money just doing it myself, and probably have more fun doing it than paying somebody to come out here and do it. So I may just go that route. Anyway, we're gonna crank up the old ditch witch. If she'll start, I'm sure she will, and do some trenching. And man, it is a beautiful day. What a gorgeous day. It's windy, it's very windy coming down, but I'm excited to spend a day out here in the woods. It's a beautiful day. Well, that hissing sound that you hear is natural gas. We've had all of this area looked at with Call Before You Dig, and there was no gas line found in here. The gas line is supposed to run along the street and come up this other way. But we've hit a gas line. We managed to dig about 30 feet before we hit our first utility. I'm gonna get away from it. There's not any danger. Of course, there's no sparks or anything up here right now, but natural gas pouring out. I've called the utility company. They're going to come out here and get it cut off. Obviously, they didn't know this was in the ground here, and nobody ever located it. I took video back when I got all the utilities located, and there was no gas line on this side of the road. The gas line that they found would not interfere with my digging at all on my plan, which was to come up that path there. Their gas line comes up this street here. So that may be an abandoned gas line that is still hooked up. I don't know, but it was a surprise to me to hit gas over there. And I'm not real sure exactly what we will do about it, but they're on their way out here. Man, I got to tell you, the last thing you want to do when you're digging is to hit a gas line. And you go 30 feet and you hit a gas line. Just kind of makes you really adrenaline jump there. Got the machine turned off immediately once I hit it, realized what it is, and they'll probably be an hour getting here. I really don't know how long it will take them to get here. He said he'd have to bring a machine up here to get it. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I was supposed to call and have them re-identify, but this will be about the 5th time that they've come out here to re-identify before I dug. So I guess they'll find me for that. I don't know, but they never located it. In all of the times that they did come out here and dig and identify lines, they never identified any gas where I'm at. So kind of felt like I was safe anyway. So always call before you dig. And even when you do, you still may hit something. Well, it didn't take long, maybe about 45 minutes, and I have moved the machine over here. He brought his own machine. I'll show you what it looks like. That's a fairly new line. Well, he's going to get it repaired, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be that big of a major setback. What he's going to do, there is a locator wire, that yellow wire right here. He can hit that with a locator. I think he's got one on his truck, and he can go ahead and identify where it is all the way back out here, so I don't hit it again. But he said, you know, basically he'll have me back together here, and I can start digging here just here shortly. So that's what we're going to do. That's all it took. Kind of like shark bait, just an easy quick fix. That's the locator. He's going to energize that line right there, which is what that is, and then he can locate it the rest of the way up through there. So we'll figure out where it's going to be. By the way, when they installed the water meter, I remember now that my neighbor told me that they dug up a gas line. I assumed he meant that one, and the assumption was wrong. He meant this one. You can see where they didn't find it when they located it either, and then they, the water line, they literally set the water meter right on top of the gas line. And so when I came in and started digging this morning in this exact spot where I set my boom down first, that's how far away the gas line is. It goes right through there. I literally missed it by 6 inches the very first minute I started. So that's probably an indication of just bad luck. I don't know what that really means. All right. Well, we got the whole first part of the water line dug across the easement, and then we came up here and we dug this little cut through, started it anyway, to get up to the side. Trying to stay away from that big tree best we can. So I'm going to dig the water line to about right there. I got this piece dug in. I got into kind of some bad ground and got over into that real soupy stuff and got the ditch witch stuck. So it's buried up in the mud. Probably going to have to wait till it dries up. And then I broke the chain. Oh man, broke that big old heavy stinking digging arm or digging chain, and that sucker is so heavy you can't do anything with it with one person. So so today's digging is over. I'm going to go now over to Jackson and go ahead and buy the water line, and while this thing is open, I am going to get that water line set in the hole, and then I will cover it partially just to hold it in the place where it needs to go. But I believe that's deep enough trench for our water line. I'll leave the ends sticking out on both ends so that I can splice it back together. So I'm going to get a measurement here of how many feet, basically just step it off. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95 steps. So right at 100 steps, so that's 300 feet of water line that I need to go by. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be stealing the ditch witch anytime soon, but I'll take the key just in case. Yeah, it's in the soup here. Probably have to bring a shovel back and dig that up. It's pretty buried. Tried, like anything, to use that excavator arm to pull myself out, but I just can't. You can't do it all. You can't operate the excavator arm from there. You have to be there, and you can't operate the drive wheels from there. You have to be there. So interesting. But I just need to trench right down here, and then there is a phone line about where the ditch witch is sitting. There's a phone line that I'm going to have to cut, and they'll have to come back out and splice. There's just no way around it. I can't locate it. I would cut it even if I was digging with a shovel. So we'll come back and do that another time. But I'm headed over to Lowe's. I'm getting stuff done. It's one step forward and two steps back, but things are getting done, and I'm all right with that. Well, all right. Well, it's been a pretty eventful day so far. You don't, every day of your life, you don't tear up natural gas lines and get a 12,000-pound ditch witch stuck in the mud. These are all fun things. So I'm headed to Jackson. I'm going to get some lunch, and I've called home to check in to make sure that they know that I'm not injured or doing anything else crazy. I feel like the Lord's protection is on me today. I know that there's been some crazy things, but for some reason I don't feel like I'm being hounded by my enemy. I feel like I'm being helped by my protector. So that's a pretty awesome feeling. And anyway, so I'm headed to Jackson, getting on I-40 right here, and we'll check in when we get back to Bible Grove. I'm going to Jackson. All right, well, I'm just leaving Lowe's in Jackson. You can see the big rolls of PEX that I've got in the back there. It's about 3:15, and it's about 45 minutes to get back, so it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But I'm kind of wondering what to do next. If I need to get these rolls are so tight.
At the next light, turn right.
Okay, I'm gonna turn right. These rolls are so tight, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to unroll them and let them sit in the sun for a little bit in order to straighten out to get them in that. So I think I will do that and get that plastic up to temperature in this good sunny day, and try to get the machine unstuck if I can. Just try to play that by ear, but I'm trying to get that done. And then I'd like to leave here about 5 o'clock.
At the light, use the middle lane to turn right onto North Highland Avenue.
At the very latest today, I'd like to be out of here by 5 o'clock, and maybe even a little earlier than that. So, yep, one step.
Turn right, then turn left to merge onto I-40 East.
One step forward and 2 steps backwards today, or maybe even 2 steps backwards before 1 step.
Go past this light, then at the next one, use the left lane to merge onto I-40 East.
Thank you, Siri. And that's it, man. So, update's over. All right, well, the machine is sufficiently stuck, so we're gonna have to just wait and figure that out later. I've got it up off the ground a little bit just so it'll dry out underneath it. Maybe that'll do for the next time. And you can see back here, I mean, the ground is just completely soup. So I drove it into a big sinkhole. Okay, live and learn. Putting this roll of PEX into a trench is a big pain in the butt, but what I figured out is if you just lay the whole roll down in the trench and just start unrolling it and then bury it as you go in a few little pieces. I'm going to come back with some. I've got a lot of firewood pieces, big chunky firewood pieces that are too big really for for this. And some of it is even hackberry instead of camp burn. And I'll probably weight it down with that to hold it in the trench until I can get back here and cover it correctly. But I'm going to go ahead and get this in place. I've got a couple of pieces of couplings to get, and I will roll this on out and get this in place before I head on back home. All right, well, there's the water meter. I'm going to trench that last little bit, probably by hand. You see how close the gas line is right there to it. I've got water in the trench and covered up, except for this one exposed area here where we actually hit the gas line. But it will all be covered up again soon. So at all of the joints, I've got couplers. I'm going to leave a PVC pipe that will look all the way down where you can see that coupler. That way, if it's leaking, once I do a pressure test at the couple, at the joint, I can see the leak. Won't be leaking anywhere along the line. If we have any water leaks, I'll be able to see those. So I've got about 300 feet of water line put in. It was a little bit more manual labor than I intended because the ditch witch is stuck. But well, while I'm waiting on the gas company to get here, I thought I'd go ahead and just walk up here to the old cemetery and visit my grandmother and my grandfather, Milam and Ruby Skates. They're buried here just on the hill. If you look right back there, that's the property. You can just barely see the machine through the trees right there. Let's see. So they're up here. Right here. Ruby Lewis and Andrew Milam. And this is me. So I guess I'll be up here one day too. Or what's left of me. I'm gonna be in heaven. But this is a nice hillside. Hillside grave. I've had some sad days up on this hill. Sure have. And I can remember most recently putting Ruby in the ground here. Probably the saddest day of my life was the day my grandfather died. And, you know, I didn't go to another funeral for probably 20 years after that one. In fact, I think the next funeral that I went to was Bill Gossett. And it was at that funeral that the Lord really spoke to me through Pastor Ivan Rayleigh, who has also passed since. And Ivan mentioned me in that eulogy for Bill Gossett, and he talked about a story about how the men of that church had come together around a single mom who had 2 kids, and that they didn't even know it. Those kids didn't know that whole church was there to support them, anything that they would need. So that's the way God works in our lives. And Ivan, his message that day was, "What have you purposed in your heart?" I will never forget that. That a man will purpose something in his heart, and if its purpose is to serve the Lord, then it's honored. So it's interesting that I've had some time here to kind of reflect today. I see all the setbacks a little different these days. I see the setbacks as a time for God to make me take a break and not be so singularly focused on the goal and the work to be done, but also on the process. I thought about, on the way up here today, Gideon. I was listening to a sermon by Stephen Furtick that Brittany sent me on my way up today, and it was about Gideon and Gideon doing what he could do, and letting God do what he can do. And so I thought to myself, well, all I know that I can do is I can go up there and I can dig that trench for the water line. I can't worry about the bulldozer anymore. I can't do that. But apparently I can't dig the water line either. So we will see.